Hi everyone, my name is Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and this is another of my question and answer series. This one's the Lectin Elimination Protocol, a roadmap to recovery. Okay, here was the question. This recovery timeline reveals something crucial about lectin sensitivity. It's not just about removing problematic foods, but about allowing complex biological systems to recalibrate. For the patients who plateau at weeks 5 to 8, let's say, you mentioned deeper issues like mold exposure or SIBO. How do lectins interact with these other root causes to create what seems like a perfect storm of metabolic dysfunction? This is a great one. This is a crucial insight. Lectin sensitivity is often not a standalone issue. It's a synergistic amplifier of existing dysfunction. In patients who plateau at weeks 5 to 8, despite proper elimination, we frequently find that lectins are not the root cause, but the fuel feeding the fire of deeper pathologies like SIBO, mold toxicity, mycotoxins, or chronic stealth infections. There's all kinds of things that could potentially be affecting you metabolically. So let's unpack how this perfect storm is created mechanistically, clinically, and biochemically. Okay, so how lectins interact with other root causes. 1. Lectins and SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So the interaction. Lectins damage the gut lining, epithelium plus glycocalyx, loosening tight junctions, right? This increased permeability allows bacterial toxins, LPSs, and food particles to cross into the circulation. Lectins also serve as fermentable substrates to immune triggers for dysbiotic bacteria. The result, bloating, pain, and food intolerances escalate. Even on a low-carb or keto diet, patients may react poorly due to persistent fermentation or mucosal irritation. The gut wall is inflamed, bacteria are misplaced, and the immune system is triggered chronically. A triple hit. This is a big one, right? Okay, lectins and mold mycotoxin exposure. The interaction. Mycotoxins impair mitochondrial function and immune surveillance, lowering resilience to dietary triggers. Lectins induce systematic inflammation and upregulate cytokines like IL-6 and TNF alpha, exactly the inflammatory pathways mold already activates. So it's a 1-2 punch there. Both lectins and mycotoxins can increase zonulin, worsening intestinal permeability. Zonulin is something we test for to determine if you have a leaky gut. The result, energy production tanks due to mitochondrial inhibition. Inflammatory load exceeds the body's detox and repair capacity. Brain fog, fatigue, and histamine sensitivity persist. When mold and lectins coexist, the gut becomes leaky, mitochondria are compromised, and the immune system is hypervigilant yet ineffective. The, you, the patient, is stuck in a state of chronic low-grade alarm. Not a good place to be. Okay, lectins and autoimmunity. So here's the interaction. Lectins cross-react with human proteins due to molecular mimicry. WGA, for example, mimicking insulin, right? In autoimmune patients, people with Hashimoto's, RA, psoriasis, right? Lectins intensify antibody production and T cell activity against self tissues. Leaky gut driven by lectins or infections allows autoantigen exposure into circulation. The result, flare ups despite clean eating, new sensitivities, food, supplements, environment, plateaus in energy, weight loss, and cognitive function. Immune system confusion escalates. The system begins attacking tissues it shouldn't, including pancreatic beta cells, thyroid, or joints. For those of you who have this stuff, this is not good, and you know that. Okay, lectins and mycotoxin SIBO-induced hormonal disruption. Chronic inflammation from lectins plus SIBO plus mold equals elevated reverse T3 cortisol and leptin. these are just hormonal blueprints for metabolic dysfunction. Your result is adrenal resistance, thyroid resistance, and leptin resistance, especially in women. And leptin resistance means you're always hungry. If you're always hungry, we got to look at that. You should start to feel full after, especially if you switch to a ketogenic diet or like a carnivore diet. Your satiety should immediately kick in within 1 or 2 days. And you should not be feeling hungry anymore after you've eaten. Okay? These hormonal changes blunt fat loss, suppress ketone production, and erode motivation. Okay, so if keto or carnivore is not working, usually there's something else going wrong, and we need to look into that. Okay, final items. Here's the clinical presentation of the perfect storm, right? You have root cause, SIBO, right? And the intervention for that, of course, is an elemental diet, which means carnivore, meat broths, right? Stuff like that. Antimicrobial protocol and rifaximin where indicated, right? Okay. Those are things that we have to go to the doctor for. I can't prescribe that, obviously. Mold or mycotoxins, binder rotations. We haven't talked about adding a binder as a supplement, but yeah, a binder can really help with mold and mycotoxins, right? But usually binders are charcoal, bentonite, or chlorella, right? And I like chlorella. It's one of the binders I take myself. Sauna, liposomal glutathione, right? Lots of things we can do. Gut healing, beef gelatin, colostrum, biturate, zinc carnosine. There's all kinds of other stuff we can add to help you heal your gut, right? I like colostrum, right? Colostrum is a beautiful product. Add it to your coffee. It's relatively inexpensive. You get the right brand, and it works great. Autoimmunity. We might have to look at low histamine protocols on your carnivore trial. Stress modulation. We might want to add specific herbs or peptides that help work on autoimmunity issues. Okay, there are things we can do, and mitochondrial support. If we're still having issues with energy, we look for ubiquinol, PQQ, carnitine, red light therapy, fasting with controlled fasting, anything that help make increase the number of mitochondria in each cell and increase the effectiveness of all the mitochondria in the cells. Right, there are things we can do there. Okay, lectins is the spark in the dry forest. Lectins alone may not cause chronic metabolic dysfunction, but when layered over an inflamed gut, mold-impaired detox systems, microbial imbalance, right, your gut microbiome, or autoimmune vulnerability, these all act as amplifiers, triggers, and signal disruptors that lock patients in a metabolic gridlock, right? So we need to break the cycle if you're in it, and we need to make sure that if lectins are the problem and for some reason you want to bring them back in your diet, we got to be very wary of that, right? Okay. Final thought for everyone. In patients who plateau, so if you are taking on a ketogenic or a carnivore type diet and you plateau after a short while, and it doesn't mean just remove more foods. It may mean let's look at what's going on, why you're plateauing, and how we can break that. Because bottom line, if you were like me and you abused your body for years eating a standard American diet, it can take years, a couple years or more, to heal properly before you can really start to lose all the bad stuff in your body. Don't worry about your weight, and don't worry about some extra fat. Worry about healing your body first, providing with all the proper nutrition and nutrients, and the body fat and the weight and the aches and pains and all that other stuff, they'll start to take care of themselves. Okay? Heal first. Worry about your weight second. All right. Thanks for watching. If If you can, remember, like, share, subscribe, and if you have any comments, leave them in the appropriate section. Thank you very much.